On New Year's Eve 2018, just after 11 p.m., a terrifying 911 call was received by the St. Joseph Police Department.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
I need help. I need help. My husband was shot. I need help.
Okay, stay on the line with me. Ma'am, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath from me, okay? How many shots did you hear, ma'am? Ma'am? Hello?
I don't know. I just want to lie.
Okay.
Following this call, first responders were dispatched to 2086 Colfax Avenue. When Officer Jay Peppers arrived on the scene, the paramedics were already tending to the victim, 23-year-old Tyrone Hassel III. His wife, Kamaya Hassel, was clearly distraught. Tyrone was still breathing, but his condition was critical. His body was covered in blood due to 2 gunshot wounds to the head, one in his neck and one in his shoulder. Kamaya was crying hysterically as she attempted to get into the ambulance with Tyrone.
Hey, back up! Whoa, 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 whoa. No. Do you have any idea what? Come on. Yep, I know.
As paramedics worked quickly to save Tyrone, Kamaya called his father and informed him of what had happened. Within minutes, his father and grandmother arrived on the scene.
How the hell he get shot? You know who he is?
My son. It's Tyrone Hassel III.
Hey, bud, I know this is messed up. We got to get you guys out of here so we can secure this scene, okay? We got to collect some evidence and find out what the hell's going on here, okay? But we got to get you out here a second, okay? We'll talk to you in a minute. Do you live here, bud?
I live here.
Okay, what's your name?
My grandson is probably in there by himself.
Okay, I'll go take care of that for you if he is.
He's
we'll get
one.
you in. Okay, we'll get you in there, okay?
Okay.
Bye.
Now with the family nearby, officers spoke with them to better assess the situation.
Do you have any idea what happened here?
No, he just brought us something to eat.
Okay.
We were sitting on the couch eating, and then I just heard gunshots.
Okay.
And I ran to put my son in the room, and I came outside, and he was laying on the cart.
Okay, how many gunshots did you hear?
I don't know. I just heard a lot.
Do you have any idea how this happened?
I'm not sure.
I mean, this is serious, okay? I don't know what his condition is, but it does not look good, okay? So, if you know something,
I don't think he was beefing with anybody.
now's the time.
According to Kamaya, Tyrone and his family were at a friend's house about 2 miles away to celebrate the new year. She stayed home to look after their 1-year-old son, who they nicknamed Chunk. Just before 11 p.m., Tyrone momentarily left the party. He drove home in his black Dodge pickup truck to drop off some food for Kamaya and Chunk. He only stayed for a few minutes, and as he exited the residence, Kamaya heard multiple gunshots. She quickly picked up Chunk and ran into the bedroom until the gunshots stopped. She cautiously looked out the front door, only to see Tyrone lying motionless beside his truck. She immediately dialed 911. After getting Chunk out of the house and securing the scene, officers continued to speak with the family to learn more about Tyrone's background.
That's my oldest son, and I've been so proud of him. He went to college on honors. He left college and went and joined the Army.
Yeah, he's active military right now, right?
He's active military.
So.
In 2015, Tyrone joined the United States Army, where he met his wife Kamaya. From February to October of 2018, Tyrone and Kamaya were deployed to South Korea. For the 2 months leading up to the shooting, they were stationed at Fort Stewart in Georgia, but had gone home to spend the Christmas holidays with their family.
My son don't have no file, anything. He don't have a record. He told me a long time ago, Daddy, if I go to jail, somebody frame me. My son walked a straight line his entire life.
You guys know if he has any issues with anybody?
He in the army. He just came here for vacation.
So you just on leave and
Yeah.
Is he originally from here?
Yeah. But he's been gone for years.
somebody came from over there. They had to come because you can't even get in this house from over here.
Different theories were being tossed around as the police spoke with the family and neighbors. One theory was that this was simply a celebration gone wrong. According to reports, some residents of St. Joseph Township would ring in the new year by firing gunshots into the air. Could some of those bullets have hit Tyrone? Tyrone's father had a different opinion. He had a feeling that this was an attempted murder, and that his son's friend, Darius Carter, may have been the shooter. Apparently, Tyrone's half-brother Benny recently stole Darius's phone, so the theory was that Darius meant to kill Benny, but mistakenly killed Tyrone instead.
More than likely, that was Benny was probably the target. He just happened to step out at the wrong damn time. If I had to guess, that's what my theory on this whole thing is.
Another theory was that this was simply a robbery turned deadly.
This may be a robbery, dude. We need to know if he had money. We need to know if...
Somebody had to be laying in wait for his ass.
This was also questionable, since Tyrone's truck and the valuables inside were untouched, despite the fact that his keys were lying right next to him.
You got anything in here?
Cell phone and then a black duffel bag.
Shell casings were scattered around the crime scene, and the truck and fence were littered with bullet holes.
So whatever happened right here, huh?
There's one, two, three. You got 2 right here. Okay. I think I saw 5 just by the truck alone.
There's also a bullet hole in the fence to the left.
Okay. Whoever shot him was either laying in wait or walked up on him because they shot him right up next to his truck right outside the door. It was a point-blank shot, I'm sure.
Somebody knows something.
All of the evidence was collected and sent to the state crime lab. Tyrone was rushed to Lakeland Hospital for further treatment.
He's at the hospital right now, and Tyrone, everybody's up there. I'm going to be honest, it does not look good.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Tyrone's stepmother, LaShonda, worked at the same hospital that he was being transported to. She saw him being rushed into the operating room, clinging to life. But it was too late. Moments later, Tyrone Hassel III was pronounced dead. 10 hours later, on January 1st, 2019, police had a formal interview with Tyrone's father.
I think I know who did this to him, so.
He doubled down on his belief that Darius Carter had intended to kill Benny, but mistakenly killed Tyrone instead.
So you think Benny was the target?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, that's what we're thinking. I mean, that's, your son ain't got no beef with nobody. There ain't no reason for anybody here to be after him.
To follow up on this lead, police also interviewed Darius, but it quickly became clear that this theory was unlikely. Darius had an alibi. He was confirmed to be out of town at a New Year's Eve party on the night of the shooting. With that theory debunked, law enforcement continued their investigation by bringing a police canine to the crime scene. This canine detected a scent behind a shed in the backyard. Officers also noticed footprints, which they followed to the driveway of a vacant house for sale. The investigators deduced that whoever had shot Tyrone may have parked their getaway vehicle in this driveway. They canvassed the nearby area and eventually got a lead. An elderly couple named Walter and Fern Nost told the police that they saw an unfamiliar car parked in the vacant driveway the night of the shooting.
Hey, Walt, how are you?
Ornery as ever.
Ornery as ever?
They saw the driver get out of the car, grab something from the back seat, and soon after, they heard multiple gunshots.
Because he was here, 2 or 3 days ago, and parked there.
The same way.
When they looked out the window just after midnight, the car was gone. After notifying the public of the shooting, multiple tips came in from local callers. Unfortunately, each tip only led to dead ends. That was until January 11th, when the St. Joseph Police Department received an anonymous phone call. The caller claimed to have important information regarding the shooting. Apparently, while Kamaya and Tyrone were stationed in Korea, Kamaya had an affair with another man.
Why do you think this happened the way you do?
Okay. I'll help you with that. They were all in Korea, and that's where it started. He and the girl had a relationship going on, and that the guy that died had said something to him, so they had words, and then he had threatened him. You know what I mean?
And what I think I heard you understand is this relationship started in Korea, and there was a words exchanged or a confrontation between the husband, Tyrone, and the killer there.
Right. I don't know if he's there or here.
Okay.
No. The only thing is that the funeral is tomorrow. You guys should look at the wife.
The man Kamaya allegedly had an affair with was a military truck driver, 24-year-old Jeremy Cuellar, nicknamed Quay. St. Joseph authorities immediately contacted the Army Criminal Investigations Division, urging other military personnel to reach out with information regarding Tyrone's death. One of Jeremy's close friends, Jaquan Hamilton, came forward with reason to believe that Jeremy was involved in the murder. He started by giving his first impression of Jeremy.
What can you tell me about Jeremy Cuellar?
Cuellar, yeah.
Tell me about him.
Man, he was cool. Met him right before we went to the field.
Okay. So would y'all hang out regularly, things like that? Okay. So any relationships between any of those people in that group going on?
I mean, in Korea, I knew Quinn Hassel messed around. Yeah, her husband Carter.
Okay.
When Tyrone found out about the affair, it led to a heated confrontation between him, Jeremy, and Kamaya. Shortly after, Jeremy told Jaquan that Buddy had to go, and that he wanted to do it during the Christmas holidays. Jaquan believed that Kamaya and Jeremy planned to kill Tyrone together, and that the desire to go through with the plan was mutual. Jaquan wasn't the only one to come forward. Sergeant Tadarius Golston also spoke with investigators, claiming to have sold Jeremy a Ruger 9mm and a Glock 23 in mid-December of 2018.
He's not too savvy with guns, but he was like, hey man, do you know anybody that has a Glock 40? And I was like, what do you want about this? And he's like, yeah, sure. Gave the firearm. He asked me, he was like, so how do you use it? And I was, bro, you're in the Army, you don't know how to use it. And then I sold it to him via Cash App. Something down to 400.
At this point in the investigation, Kamaya was staying with Tyrone's family. Later that night, Tyrone's father received a call from Detective Andrew Longuski. He was told that he needed to come down to the station immediately and to bring Kamaya with him. Upon arriving, detectives instantly took Kamaya to a separate room. They then told Tyrone's father to return home because they only needed to talk to Kamaya, and it was going to be a long night. Right off the bat, Kamaya denied having any knowledge about the murder that she hadn't already shared. Detective Longuski told her that they knew about the affair with Jeremy.
He just started working you? Did it start in Korea? Is that where everything started going? Because there's no doubt about it. This whole relationship's going.
In Korea, that's where it started. Like, we weren't sexual or anything, but we were really close.
But you are now.
We're really close.
You guys were probably sexual somewhere throughout all this. You have to be to have this kind of, for him to get this hold on you, he's had to break through sexually to you, I'm guessing, first.
Not even just sexually. I just was feeling so bad, like, with Ty. Like, nothing me not wanting to be with him, but just how I was being treated. I was just feeling so bad. And it's just like he was just there, like, listening and everything. Like, he listened, like, he listened to me, and I felt like with Ty, it was times where he wouldn't listen to me.
He suggested that Kamaya should take a polygraph test and give her side of the story before she winds up in trouble. She agreed to take the test and failed miserably on all fronts. When Detective Longuski confronted her with the results, he also lied to her, saying that they had already spoken with Jeremy and he was trying to pin the blame on her.
I believe there's a lot of things going on. I believe Jeremy's a manipulative person. You are not the one pulling the trigger. You need to get out front of this for your son, because you have a future. And I'm telling you, when they come and talk to me, I want to be able to say, hey, I gave her a test. Would she be involved with something? She's sorry that this occurred. Without a doubt you are, but don't let him put you underneath the bus, because that's where it's going right now. Because this isn't something you planned. This guy got into you. He got into your head. You guys are working together. He's playing you, and I don't mean it in a bad way. We all get played. We've all been in that situation because we have.
This was a major turning point in the interrogation. Kamaya opened up, providing a detailed account of the murder plot.
So, when we were in Korea, I can't really pinpoint exactly when it was. Me and I had this big argument, and then, I came back into the building. I was talking to Jeremy. I'm like, man, I don't really need him anymore. Like, and he was like, I can handle that. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, I can handle it. Like, I get that guy, I get it go.
According to Kamaya, they chose to carry out their plan during Christmas holidays because Jeremy would be in Chicago, about 100 miles away from St. Joseph, Michigan. They felt that this would be less suspicious than killing him while they were all together in Korea.
It was just planned in Korea. It wasn't to be done in Korea. It was just planned in Korea when we got back to the States.
Kamaya then said that she and Jeremy communicated through Snapchat. Apparently, Jeremy drove from Chicago to Michigan several times, looking for the best time to strike. In fact, he had actually driven to Michigan just days before New Year's Eve to monitor Tyrone's movements.
And then he was out there, and he was watching the house the whole time. I told him that he was bringing us back something.
What surprised detectives about Kamaya's story was that she and Jeremy had started plotting Tyrone's murder only a few months after the two had met. Was this purely an act in the name of love, or was there more to their motive? Well, it turns out that if an active service member dies, the surviving spouse is entitled to an insurance payout of approximately $400,000.
Why would you just divorce him? Was it because he had some good money to start out for your kid? I mean, is the money part of it?
The money is part of it, yes.
Okay.
But main reason being is because I just felt like if I would have called it off, like, Jeremy probably would have, like, been upset at the fact that I called it off. And I didn't want him, like, mad at me.
Okay, but you understand, though, calling it off would have saved your husband's life. You could have divorced him. Was Ty a bad man?
Not bad enough for this. And honestly, that's just, like, my remorse. That's really how I feel.
I believe you do. I don't believe you do it today. But you know, you put your needs and your wants above somebody's life.
I did.
$400,000 is not what Ty is.
That's not.
You felt it was before. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
Would you say this is a 50-50 you guys were on this?
Yeah. Because I know all about it, and like I said, I probably could have stopped it, but the reason why I didn't, because I felt like he would, be mad at me or...
And not love you anymore?
Yeah. Because I just felt like I wasn't getting that love at home like I wanted to.
So, as far as that, are you sad that you planned this out with him?
Yeah, that's why, even though I wasn't being 100% truthful in the beginning, that's why I kept saying that.
Would you say you weren't 100% truthful? That's a kind of a major 100%. You were
because of
you were
saying that
25%. Would you agree to that? I mean, that's huge. I mean, I almost think with these guys,
But that's why when I kept saying that, with what I know now, if I could, I would go back and not do it. I wouldn't even talk to Jeremy at all, knowing that everything would have gone like this.
But Jeremy was going to go and you called him back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I get why you called him back. I mean, knowing now, what do you think should happen to you right now?
I don't know. Because myself, I feel just as guilty as him.
To wrap up, they had Kamaya sign a handwritten document as an admission of guilt. Following this interrogation, authorities moved quickly to arrest Jeremy Cuellar at his home. He was brought to the police station for questioning, but without hesitation, Jeremy requested an attorney.
Okay, so Jeremy, I'll ask you a few questions to make sure we're clear here. I went over all your legal rights with you. Do you understand those? Mm-hmm. And at this point in time, do you wish to have a lawyer? Yeah.
The interview ended there, and Jeremy shut down any further communication with police. Fortunately for the detectives, he didn't make much of an attempt to cover his tracks. During a search of Jeremy's car and home, authorities discovered an abundance of evidence. In his black Chevrolet Impala, they found a 9mm bullet in the front seat, the same type of ammunition found at the crime scene. They also discovered 3 bullets in the back pocket of the driver's seat, and a 9mm magazine on the floor behind the passenger seat. Divorce papers for Jeremy and his wife were also in the vehicle, as well as a Walmart receipt for a handheld GPS device he had purchased in the Chicago area. In Jeremy's home, detectives found a Sprint mobile bag with evidence of a newly activated iPhone, temporary firearm registration paperwork, a Glock 23 semi-automatic pistol, and more 9mm ammunition. Despite all the 9mm ammo, authorities were not able to find a corresponding weapon. Jeremy's cell phone GPS data revealed that he had traveled to Michigan on 3 separate occasions leading up to Tyrone's murder, and was in the same area as Tyrone when the ambush took place. On January 12, 2019, Kamaya Hassel was arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Jeremy Cuellar was charged with first-degree murder, premeditated murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. These lovebirds would have separate trials and were now facing the possibility of spending the rest of their lives in state prison.
New tonight, it's been the hardest 2 weeks of Tyrone Hassel Jr.'s life. His son, an Army sergeant, died on New Year's Eve in St. Joseph Township. Hassel Jr. laid his son to rest yesterday, but the information he's learned about how his son was killed still haunts him. He thinks his daughter-in-law is responsible. Sam Neff reports.
You know, it's kind of mixed feelings because we did get closure. Laying on the rest, but the closure we got was something totally unexpected.
Tyrone's family was devastated. Not only were they dealing with the loss of their son, but the idea of Kamaya being responsible for it was a hard pill to swallow. Her trial began on July 15, 2019. Despite the overwhelming amount of evidence stacked against Jeremy, authorities did not have substantial physical evidence against Kamaya. The prosecution's plan was to present Kamaya as the mastermind behind the plot to murder her husband, driven by love and greed. Attorney Pierangeli explained that Kamaya and Jeremy hoped to gain life insurance money and continue their relationship after Tyrone was dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here today because the defendant, Kamaya Hassel, wasn't happy with her life and with her husband. And she devised a plan with her lover to have him murdered. Now, she could have divorced Sergeant Hassel, but that simply wouldn't work because a divorce wouldn't give her everything that she wanted. You'll hear all about this plan, and that money was a part of it. And you're going to hear all of this out of her own mouth. In her own words, because she admitted to all of it. You will find that Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III was the victim of a planned killing conceived months before and carried out on New Year's Eve of 2018. The woman responsible for that killing is seated right there, the defendant.
Kamaya's defense would go on to vehemently deny the allegations against her. They suggested that Kamaya was a victim of Tyrone's domestic abuse and that she was manipulated by Jeremy to go along with the plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, now I am a little surprised to hear Mr. Perangeli talk about Ms. Hassel as the mastermind behind this, because I think there's no question that Jeremy Cuellar is directly, no question about it, responsible for Tyrone Hassel's death. Jeremy Cuellar is a full-blown psychopath. This is Mr. Cuellar's plan. This is his idea. I hope that we can avoid another tragedy in finding the wrong person responsible.
Following the opening statements, Tyrone's father kicked things off with his testimony, giving a chilling recollection of the night his son died.
The paramedics was already there. I saw them trying to put my son on the gurney, I believe it's called, and when they lift him up, I saw my son, back of his head, explode out, and his eyes were open. I looked at him to see where all he was shot at, and I saw a hole right here, right under the ear. And the back of his head was just this big.
Detective Longuski was also brought to the stand. During his cross-examination, defense attorney Kessel suggested that he coerced Kamaya to falsely confess to the murder of her husband.
You said you got to get out in front of it because Jeremy is going to throw you under the bus. Do you remember saying that?
I believe I did, yes.
You actually said that Jeremy was in custody at one point and that he was talking. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I did.
You said Jeremy was a manipulator, correct?
I made that was a theme that I used, yes.
But it's fair to say that you're doing your own version of manipulating during this interview too, is that right?
Well, I'm trying to make her feel comfortable and give her an option or a way to explain something that she may have been involved in, yes.
So yes is the answer to the question. You were also being a manipulator in this situation, correct?
I guess that's a fair statement, yes.
Longuski's partner, Sergeant Mike Lanier, also testified, saying that on January 2nd, 2019, just 2 days after the murder, there were multiple searches on how to delete Snapchat from Kamaya's phone.
Did you do a search for a Snapchat application?
Yes.
Was there any Snapchat application on her phone?
No.
Can you explain based on People 77 to the jury exactly what you found?
Well, up here in this little top part, you can search things. You can just type in whatever you want. I type in Snapchat or anything else in Snapchat. Things come up. It starts finding the word Snapchat, which included these titles here in the middle, which the very center one here says delete account, Snapchat. Then there's delete my account, Snapchat support, just a multitude of things with Snapchat.
Okay. And what is the very initial search?
The first one on that screen happens to be active duty soldier killed on New Year's Eve.
He was able to find proof of the conversations between Kamaya and Jeremy. However, since she had already successfully deleted her Snapchat account, it was impossible to see the actual messages between the two. On trial day 3, prosecutors dropped a bombshell on the defense that would shock the courtroom. On the day that Kamaya was taken into custody, she made a phone call to her mother from jail. Little did she know this conversation was being recorded.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Hey, Mommy.
What's going on, Kamaya?
I'm in the jail.
Why are you in jail?
Because I knew what was going on with Tyrone.
You what?
I knew what was happening. We planned it.
Kamaya, are you serious? You gotta be kidding.
I'm serious, Mom. I just knew that you would be disappointed.
Girl, you 22 years old, and these people come out and you was living a double life and you done had your husband killed, the father of your child. Kamaya, is somebody coercing you to say this stuff? Because this crap sounds like a TV show, a dream. I don't know if it's a calculated, conscious, heinous decision, an evil, demonic decision. You weren't raised like that.
A second confession. Needless to say, the prosecution hit the jackpot and used Kamaya's recorded phone call to their advantage during their closing argument.
Surely, She was not giving a false confession to her mother when she said, "We planned it." Other statements she gave to her mother when her mother asked, "Did he just come up here and do it? Did he just come up here and kill Ty, or did you tell him to do it?" And she responded, "We planned it." She never pulled that trigger. But didn't she really? She planned with Jeremy Cuellar to do it. And that's evident over and over and over again. She is just as responsible as Jeremy Cuellar. She needs to be held accountable. She assisted in this crime. She gave aid. She gave counsel. She procured it. She abetted it. She encouraged it. All the evidence shows that. And she conspired with him to do it. That Sergeant Hassel could be here today. If it wasn't for this defendant.
They asserted that Kamaya had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit this crime, and that their actions were premeditated and deliberate. On the other hand, the defense argued that despite Kamaya planning Tyrone's murder, she didn't think that Jeremy would actually follow through with it.
She told Detective Longuski she didn't think it would happen. Just like Specialist Hamilton said, "I didn't think it would happen." Simply because Kamaya Hassel knew of the details does not prove that she was involved, that the statement that she made implicating herself was the result of a long stay in police custody, followed by repeated denials, followed by manipulation. Again, Detective Longuski's agreed upon word. Manipulation. It was only then that she began giving details, parroting him, as I read to you. Those are the only reasons that she made those statements, ladies and gentlemen. And without those statements, the prosecution has no case against Kamaya Hassel.
On July 18th, 2019, after a 4-day trial, the jury had come to a decision and the verdict was presented to the court.
I'm going to ask, sir, if you would please read in count 1 your verdict.
Guilty of first degree premeditated murder as aider or abettor.
Thank you. And as to count 2.
Guilty of conspiracy to commit first degree premeditated murder.
All right, thank you.
Kamaya's sentencing took place about a month later, on August 29th, 2019.
New at 11 tonight, the wife of a Fort Stewart soldier has been sentenced to life in prison without parole for his murder. 22-year-old Camille Hassel learned her punishment today in Berrien County. Last month, a jury found her guilty of the January killing of Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III. He was shot to death while visiting family in Michigan.
The following month, on September 23rd, 2019, Jeremy Cuellar pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to a minimum of 65 years in prison. He will be eligible for parole at the ripe age of 90.
Jeremy Cuellar was emotional at his sentencing today as the victim's mother addressed the court. LaShonda Jones told the court that she plays videos just to listen to her son's voice and told Cuellar he does not deserve to walk the earth. Cuellar burst into tears.
I apologize to the family again. Sincerely. I was a fool for just taking her words and not really looking to see who he was. It was stupid. And that's not me at all. You know, I was raised right. I just had issues with them, my own demons. I know we all do. But when she was telling me, I told her I opened up to her and she played on it. I shouldn't have, opened up to her. I was a fool for trusting her.
Following Jeremy's conviction, he requested a video call from prison with Tyrone's father. To many surprise, he accepted the invitation.
Oh, this is Mr. Hassel Jr.?
Yeah.
How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. Under the circumstances.
Honestly, I'm very sorry. I know that is not even enough, regardless of the fact I deprived Chunk of his father and his mother, regardless of how his mother, period. At the end of the day, I'm the reason, So it's like, I just couldn't take the shit, Plus, it's like, I just want to do my time and hopefully get out, But I don't even know if that's even possible, She always, it was just negative things about Ty and y'all, and that was another reason that kind of fueled me. But I didn't really want to do it. But I don't know, man. I was just blind. There's many things that she would tell me, bad things about him. And it wasn't even that bad now that I really look at it, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was just ungrateful, you know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't seeing that. I was trying to, like, be that, I don't know, man, just goofy, man, really, honestly, to be honest with you.
So y'all, thinking after all that, you thought that y'all can live happily ever after that.
I could tell by the way you look, man, you want me to burn in hell, sir. And I understand that. I understand that. I really hope you can forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's going to take forever, or you might not. But, I really hope you can.
The only thing I can say, man, I'm going to get out of here. Just, I guess for your sake, just stay in that Bible. It's the only thing going to help you. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Despite this open and honest conversation, in August of 2020, Jeremy decided to withdraw his guilty plea, claiming that his defense team's advice to plead guilty was ineffective legal counsel. But in August of 2021, the Michigan Supreme Court denied Jeremy's request for an appeal. The following year, in October of 2022, Kamaya also claimed that her attorneys were ineffective by failing to challenge the admissibility of her police statements. She also added that her attorneys failed to present evidence of abuse during her marriage, nor did they consult an expert regarding a possible self-defense claim based on battered partner syndrome. However, this request for an appeal was also denied, and Kamaya's convictions were upheld. Kamaya Hassel is currently serving her life sentence at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in Ypsilanti, Michigan. As for Jeremy, he is serving his sentence at the Bellamy Creek Correctional Facility located in Ionia, Michigan.